If you record guitar and the only thing going into your DAW is your tone, you're painting yourself into a corner, which could potentially ruin your song. Today, I'm going to show you how to capture both your amp tone and your DI at the same time on one stereo track, so you never have to choose again. And this works whether you're recording with a quad Cortex, Helix, or a good old-fashioned mic on a speaker cabinet. Here's the scenario most home studio guys run into. You got your 5150, rectifier, or JCM all dialed in. That's just a guess. Matter of fact, let me know in the comments below what amp or amp models you guys are recording with. And if you're using an amp sim, let me know which one. Okay, so you got a ripping tone that you love. You connect it to your interface and you record a killer performance. But then you get to the mix and something's off. The tone doesn't sit right, or the low end is too muddy, or it's just too dark. So what are your options? Re-record? I mean, you can if your guitarist isn't too busy eating Taco Bell in his girlfriend's basement, or try to EQ a bad tone into a good one, which, good luck with that. See, the good news is, it doesn't have to be this way. What if you just recorded both from the very beginning? You get to record with a guitar tone that you love and still have your DI as a safety net. Today, not only am I going to show you how to do that, I'm going to show you how to do it the professional way so that your session doesn't turn into a cluttered nightmare. So let's dive in. We're going to start with the setup. Now, aside from the basic equipment it takes to record guitar with either amps or amp modelers, you really only need one more piece of gear, and that's a DI box with splitting capability. I use the Radial Pro DI, which is a one-channel passive DI box. They're about $135 new, and aside from the workflow we're using it for today, it actually has one other cool feature, and that's a ground lift button, which, if you have any interference in your signal, this could potentially help a ton. So let me walk you through the actual signal chain here. We're going to do it with both a live amp and an amp modeler. First, you're going to plug your guitar cable into the input of the DI box. And this next part is key for what we're trying to do here. The through output gets plugged into your amp rig or amp modeler, as if there was no DI box there at all. Treat it like it's coming from your guitar. You could put pedals before the amp, whatever you normally do. Now the XLR output gets plugged into input 1 on your interface. That's your guitar DI. To capture your guitar tone with an amplifier, you're going to put a microphone on your speaker cabinet as you normally would, and that's going to get plugged into input 2 on your interface. If you're getting your tone from a modeler, the output of your modeler is going to get plugged into input 2 instead. Seems pretty straightforward, right? But there's a problem here. If you track like this with 2 individual tracks, you're in for a lot of issues. Think about it. You have 2 separate sources of audio that need to be connected to each other, and trying to stay on top of that while still record is an absolute nightmare. Now, in most DAWs, you can create groups, which will allow you to lock the tracks together so that anything that you do on one track happens on the other. But in my experience, that's a messy process. Things just tend to not always work out the way you want them to. Think about this. You're tracking the verse riff to your song. You play 7 or 8 takes, and then you comp them to get your rhythm left and your rhythm right. If you accidentally use the same take for both rhythm parts, even in a little tiny section, your stereo guitars sum to mono, and then it sounds really weird. So let me show you my pro workflow so you don't have to worry about any of that. So we're all set up, and now we're going to take care of things in the DAW. As you can see, right now I have a rhythm DI channel and a rhythm tone channel, but I have them separated. So this one is coming in on the Apollo input 1, this one's coming in on the Apollo input 2. So this is my DI, and this is my rhythm. So if I record right now, you can see that it recorded both DI and the rhythm tone. And you can group these. If I go here and I highlight both, I can create a group and then name it guitar. And then in the settings, I can edit lock these, quantize lock them, and I can set all these things, the volume, the mute, the record enable, the panning. All these things will happen on both tracks. So right now, if I make a cut, let's say on this track, you see how it cut them for both. So that's all well and good, and sometimes that will work, but the way I'm gonna show you right now is way better than this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a new track, and the input is going to be a stereo input. And now when I play, you're going to see both signals. If you're listening on stereo, either on headphones or in your car or on a TV, you're going to hear the DI coming in on the left speaker and the amp tone coming in on the right. Now this works, but you probably don't want to hear this while you're actually tracking. There's nothing really inspiring about having a DI out of one speaker and an amp tone out of the other. So let me show you the workaround here. Now, Logic's stock gain plugin does what I'm about to show you guys, but I'm fully aware that not all of you guys are running Logic. So what you can do is use this free plugin by Boz Digital Labs, which is called Panipulator 3. And what this is going to do is it's going to take your stereo signal and convert it to mono. You could use this for a bunch of different things, but what I'm going to use it for right now is to convert this signal back to mono so I could hear what I want to hear. So right now, nothing's happening. It's the same signal as we had. Now, once I hit this mono button, everything sums to mono. The thing is, it's still giving me both signals, but now they're just coming out of the middle. So what I want to do is I'm going to use one of these, the left or the right. That's going to determine what signal is coming out. So if I hit left, it's going to give us the DI. If I hit right, it's going to give us the tone. So now I can track just listening to my amp tone. And as you can see right here, it recorded both. If I bypass this plugin here, we still have both signals. So you might be thinking, cool, but why go through all that trouble? Let me show you. I'm going to record another take real quick. So we have two takes of guitar here, and as you can see, the DI's on the top and the distorted guitar's on the bottom. If you've ever tried to edit or comp a distorted guitar, that caterpillar waveform is really difficult to work with. It's hard to find the pick attack, and editing can be a nightmare. And by the way, if you guys want to know how to edit guitar the right way, type edit in the comments below. I'll happily make that video if you guys want it. Back to our take here, you can edit these and comp them so much easier just by having that DI as a reference guide here. Now look, this next part is really, really important. When you're done tracking and you've comped and edited your performance, next thing to do is export your files. And this is really simple. First, I'm gonna flatten this. So now I have one file to work with. And right now, if we listen back to this, what we're gonna hear is your tone. So all I have to do now is bounce this track. So first of all, I'm going to properly label this, which you always should. Rhythm, tone, left. It's going to a new track, and I'm not bypassing the effect plugin because I want Panipulator to just produce the heavy tone. We hit OK, it bounces the track, and as you can see or hear, it's just the heavy tone. Now if we come back up here, we can bounce this again and go back into Panipulator, and now we want this to produce the left track. That's going to give us our DI. We bounce again. We're going to go rhythm, left, DI. It's going to a new track, and again, we're not bypassing because we want Panipulator to give us just the DI. We hit OK, and now we have just the DI. So once again, yeah, that's cool, but what's the big deal? Aside from making editing easier, this opens up so many doors for your guitar tone. You should always, always record a DI. If the tone that I tracked with doesn't work with the song, I could always reamp it later, or I can throw an amp sim on it right now. So here's my DI track. If I just pull up an amp sim here, I instantly have a new guitar tone. Coming from someone that mixes a lot of bands that record their own music, they don't always send the best guitar tones. But if they send me a bad tone with a quality DI, I can reamp the guitars right here in my studio and get them a tone that rips. Now, unfortunately, most of the time, what I get is a subpar guitar tone and no DI, which not only makes my job more difficult, it lowers the ceiling for your song. Now, if you want to know how to record guitar the right way, check out this video next. It's the 10 commandments of recording guitar, and I go through all the details that you need to know to make sure that your tone rips. Check it out. I'll see you there.